Om Om Sadashiva Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryanta Vande Guru Parampara Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheswara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mahavidvishavahi. Om Shanti. Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat. Verse number 6. Prakasakamanhamayam Sukha Sangena Vatnati Jnana Sangena Chanagha Rajo Ragatmakam Vidhi Trishna Shanga Samudbhavam Tani Badhnati Kaunteya Karma Sangena Dehinam. So as we have been discussing about this triguna, so the concept was very clear. I am gunatitaha. So even though I am gunatitaha, but my ahankara is under the spell of gunas. So ahankara is nothing but it is made up of prakriti. Because I am the combination of Purusha Prakriti. Hope you understand the concept. So ahankara means what? It is Prakriti plus reflected consciousness. So when ahankara is a part of Prakriti, so that means ahankara can never become free from three gunas. So that means as long as I associate with body-mind complex, that long these three gunas will be there with me. So it is the matter of fluctuation. So whether Sattva guna is predominant, Tamo guna is predominant, or Rajo guna is predominant. And of course, they are percentages. And based on the gunas, I will lead my life, I will live my life. This is in short. So that's why your happiness, your pleasure actually does not depend upon your achievements. It completely depends upon your state of mind. So when we say state of mind, it is again related to your ahankara. So this I, that is associating whether with Rajoguna, Tamoguna, or Sattoguna. That's why people have many things, but if the mind is not associating with Sattoguna, that person cannot enjoy anything in life. Whereas people don't have anything, but because of Sattoguna, the person enjoys better. So all your life is governed by these three gunas. That's why Lord Krishna is very careful here. He is handling, look, that when the person is the definition of Sattoguna, that when the person is having Sattoguna, so definitely it is a prakashakam, and it is definitely gives light, and anamayam, That means it is pure. Sorry, nirmalatvat, it is pure, anamayam, harmless. At the same time, sukha sangena vadnati. So also it causes some type of obstacle. It binds with what? Sukham. Very subtle pleasure. That's why we say very carefully that you can, love silence. You can enjoy silence, but don't get attached to silence. You can love meditation, but you cannot get attached to meditation. Then you can say, Swamiji, that's why I don't do meditation, okay? Then, okay, God should bless you, not anybody, okay? Then he says, the last verse we saw, Rajyo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam. So whereas Rajyo guna, when it is a predominant, it is ragatmaka, ranjanatmaka, we say very nicely. It's very colorful. So because it is colorful, associated with Trishna, so always there is a craving. The person is always restless, cannot keep quiet. So wants to, prove, achieve. Always there is some type of sense of void. At the same time, let's not get into too much. And of course, tad vadnati kaunteya karma shangena. So definitely that person will be attached to the activities. So I want to do good, nothing wrong in it is required. Now, the next verse, where we start. Tamasto ajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasya nidravihi tanivatnati bharata. Says beautifully, if you look at vidhi, so that means what? You should understand, may you understand. So what to understand? Tamaha tu ajnanam, ajnanajam. So tamas is to be born of ajnanam. So how? We'll look into it a little bit carefully. And of course, it says, look, mohanam sarvadehina. Literally, it deludes. Mohanam, to be the deluder of all beings. Tad vadnati, it binds, that binds where? Pramada, alasya, nidravihi. You can add any other thing you want. So, by causing pramadam, so pramada means what? Negligence. So, you are indifferent. Bo, Italian, bo, ma, means, it's not my cup of tea. So it is not your cup of tea, or you have a bitter experience. There is some type of indifference. So some type of negligence. So you are careless. So we'll be discussing a very careful topic. Then, of course, here it says not only that, alasya, the person wants to indulge. So whatever person does wants to really indulge. So indulgence. So little bit whatever person does, always in the mood of indulging. So person is not aware of the situation. The person is nothing. Always, whatever little bit does, always like sleeping continuously, doesn't bother whether it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or 12 o'clock. Okay. Alarm rings, polar alarm, dumb. Okay. So everybody wakes up except the fellow who puts the alarm. Okay. So this is called, this tamas. And of course, finally says nidra, sleep. Now, when we look at this very carefully, we have to understand not that these are bad things. Please understand. Because we need some tamoguna. Because if you don't have tamoguna, you cannot sleep. But if the tamoguna becomes predominant, then what will happen? You understand? Hey, you can sleep, 6 hours is okay. Suppose you want to sleep 16 hours. That's the problem. Hey, sometimes you have to be indifferent, especially in your house, okay? What children are doing, what your wife is doing, what your husband is doing, or you are in office. You have to learn to be indifferent. Please understand. Give them, their space. This is what I do, okay? That's why my throat has gone down because I was shouting yesterday, boys, okay? And I have a problem whenever I shout, so my throat goes away. So one has to learn to be indifferent. So if you cannot learn to be indifferent, at least welcome this tamoguna, you understand? But the problem is you are conveniently indifferent. You understand what I'm trying to say? It is not giving space to others, not to, if you are giving, in order to give space to others, in order to other to grow, you are indifferent. That is healthier. Because you have to be very careful with the words. That's why I'm indifferent to anybody and everybody. Is it according to your convenience or to allow others to grow? So if you are indifferent, others to grow. So that indifference has value, has meaning. That is healthier. Whereas you are indifferent, you are, this is called negligence. We say very nicely when there is a competition. This is what they say, especially with the siblings. So when they do compete, sometimes the elder one will get defeated to make the younger one to win. Like you have seen also, like when you start playing with the children, what you do? So purposefully you make mistake or not? Because when you make mistake, the child enjoys. Hey, you don't know. Then you pretend, oh really? Yeah, yeah, what? Oh, so you pretend that, oh, the child teaches you. So that negligence is accepted because you are making others to happy, others to grow. Whereas conveniently, in the especially in offices now in the house they do, I don't know. So you don't want to take up anything. You understand? So if something happens, you wash your hand, you get out. So when there is a pressure, then what happens? Okay, I received this job. Let me go to another job. Hey, you cannot grow up in life. It is impossible. Because that negligence attitude is so strong in you. Means the tamas aspect is so strong in you. So this tamas and rajas, okay, you understand? We'll be saying it's a various way of looking at life, okay? So he says, look, this is what life is all about. So this next verse, after discussing this both bandhana, that how it binds, also the definition. Now it summarizes in this verse. Let us look at this verse. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati raja karmani bharata ज्ञानमावृत्य तु तमः pramade sanjayatyuta. Says beautifully, sattvam sanjayati should be sattvam sanjayati sukhe. So that means always sattva binds one to the pleasure. Rajas karmani to the action. So whereas tu udatu tamaha sanjayati, tamas binds where in pramade to the negligence, abritya by veiling jnanam. Always it covers the discriminative power, O Arjuna. So when we look at this very carefully, also we need to see. So that means what? There is always, addictions. So we say silence is not bad. Enjoying silence, absolutely fantastic. But getting addicted to silence is a problem. Definitely doing karma, definitely is good. Nothing wrong in it. But addiction to karma, definitely is wrong. In fact, sleeping is good. In fact, if you don't sleep, you go crazy. Or not only you go crazy, you make others crazy, okay? If you don't eat for 2 3 days, you will not have any problem, to be very honest, because the amount of fat that you have in the body, and can be managed for months together. Nothing will happen, okay? But if you don't get sleep for 2 3 days, what will happen? You will announce the whole world, okay? I'm not able to sleep. What to do? I didn't sleep. I'm not able to sleep. But if you are addicted to sleep all the time, then what is about it? So here it's being highlighted. Look, the addiction part is dangerous. So this addiction to be handled very carefully. Because if the person is not able to handle this addiction part, definitely the person will not grow in life. So the growth is restricted. Remember this point. The growth is restricted when we are addicted to something or someone. And addiction is inevitable for a common person, because when your mind is not put on alert, when mind is not being challenged, when you are comfortable in a given situation, in a given way of living, automatically you are being addicted. And once you are addicted, the habitual activities slowly gets strengthened, and it sometimes becomes habitual error. And once this habitual error becomes part of the life, part of the system, it is very difficult you to change. In fact, you will change everybody. You understand? You will change everybody. So stanuvat, you understand? I'm using wrong, right word in wrong way here, okay? So kutavat, stanuvat, without moving, without changing, you want to change everybody. You understand? Anyway, so here says beautifully, we need to look at our ahankara very carefully, because when this ahankara is being associated, because each one of us are born with a predominantly tamas. Look at a child. So when a baby is born, 16 to 18 hours, sometimes 20 hours sleeps. Two things baby knows. Sleeps, get up for food, and crying. Some mother knows some food will be given. You understand? And as long as that fellow or fellow sleeps, appa, everybody is happy. Only wakes up for food, nothing else. Take care of these two aspects. Absolute no problem. Hey, once upon a we were, okay? That's why I'm saying it. So that means tama predominance. Now, slowly, if you observe, same child becomes, what happens? Becomes raja predominant, activities oriented, moves like young time, all the time, doesn't sleep, gets go to bed 12 o'clock, gets up 4 o'clock. Not like nowadays, okay? Hey, sleep some more time, okay? It's not healthy at all. And this indoor games has destroyed children. They do not tend to tamas in the name of sattva. However, one should go to sattva. How and why? Look at. In this universe, as we have seen that very carefully, that both Purusha and Prakriti are there in everywhere. Also, these are the distribution of three gunas. Any object that you see. For example, if you look at a wall, so the wall that you see, or any inert object you see. So inert object is the expression of, manifestation of three gunas. So there, tamo guna is predominant. Maybe 95%, 98% tamoguna. Maybe 1% rajoguna. And some percentage of sattva. And imagine if one will have rajoguna. So we'll say, I am going for a jogging. Will you be able to handle it? Thank God, one is having tamoguna, full of tamoguna. Now, when you look at this plant kingdom, so in plant kingdom, rajoguna and sattoguna is more predominant than the world. That's why they move a little bit. That's why they are more sentient. Can you see this point? More sentient. I'm using very carefully. Stones are also sentient. So they are more sentient, more alive. Now, when you start looking at like creatures, they are also having more predominance of what? The predominance of both Rajaguna and Sattoguna than plant kingdom. So when you start looking at different animals, it increases. Finally, it comes to human being. So human beings are supposed to have more Rajaguna and Sattoguna. Whereas if human being does not have predominance of this Sattoguna and Rajaguna, they are like animal, they are worse than animal. So your greatness is accepted, your greatness is viewed, your greatness is acknowledged based on your gunas. So mainly, when I say gunas, mainly Sattva Guna. So the Sattva Guna predominance makes you great, not any other thing in your life. That's why we say very carefully, when a person is having more Sattva Guna, that's why what happens to the person says that the person becomes different. We'll be seeing in the next verse in details. Not next verse, after one more verse. Let us read the next verse, okay? So that I want to cover some verses, or else I will not be able to move forward. Rajas tamascha vibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata rajas sattvam tamaschaiva tama sattvam rajas tatha. Says, look, so you need to see very carefully. So that means what? This is called indication. He gives linga. That look. So when sattva, sattvam bhavati. So sattvam when manifests. What happens? He says, look, avibhuyaha. So there is, presence, over presence, overwhelming, overpowering of what? Tama and Raja. Now it says Rajas Tamaha. So that means when Sattva manifests. So how does it manifest? It starts overwhelming, overpowering Rajas and Tamas. So that means Rajas and Tamas has to go down. They have to go down. So you cannot say, I am a Sattvic person. I am also Rajasic person. I am also Tamasic person. It doesn't work. So that's why in a given moment, we'll be seeing as a person, you can see, we'll be seeing later on. Also, moment to moment, how your mood changes based on gunas. That also we'll see very carefully. Because when you are, let us say, you understand? And sometimes while listening to me also, confusion comes. Don't worry, Tamaguna is predominant, okay? That's why I have put all of you in the, camera, so that at least you cannot sleep, okay? Or else there is no camera. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So you wake up, okay? Swamiji, I attended a class. It was very nice. However, he says like that. Then he says, second one, he uses this word that Raja also Bhavati, Raja manifests. So how does Raja manifest? He says, Sattvam cha eva tama avibhuyaha. By overpowering both Sattva and Tama. And finally, says that Tamaha Bhavati. So Tama also manifests Sattvam Tatha Rajaha Abhibhuyaha by overpowering both Sattva and Tama. So that means it is exactly when one becomes predominant, other two becomes subsidiary. So it is me who has to work to make Sattva predominance. And in Sattva predominance, whether it is 50% or 51% Sattva or 99.99 Sattva. Suppose we respect Devatas. Why Devatas are respected? In fact, that person is respected more who is having more Sattva. So Sattva guna, you can see very carefully, we'll see next verse, like how to recognize. If you observe very carefully, whoever being respected more, there is some brightness in their face. Have you not observed that? In short, some type of brightness, including so-called influencers. You can see some type of spark. Because this is very clear that here we use that when I am Sattva predominant, my sense organs are more active, which we'll be seeing in the next course, which I am not going to go, so that we'll see in the next class. So the whole effort is what? When there is confusion in me, there is a sense of craving in me. I'm just giving the steps. Delusion, confusion means tama. Sense of craving, longing means raja pradhana. Now I need to go what? Where I must be interested to learn. That's why we have rules. This is what we were taught in the childhood. There is a beautiful verse goes that one small thing is said that if there are 10 things to do, but food comes. So 10 things can be postponed, food is to be given importance. And interestingly, if there are 100 things to do, but if you have to take a shower, there's time to take shower to be given importance. But what we do, you know better. Always work, work, work. Then finally you are deluded. That's not allowed. That's why in the cultural practices, we make it very clear that one has to proceed, one has to go towards Sattva predominance. And going towards Sattva guna, one has to put effort. That's why this whole chapter is nothing. Seeing, understanding three gunas, so that you know where you stand. Also, you know how to proceed. But if you take this chapter as information and you don't work to change yourself, to improve yourself. We say Mahati Vinashti is a great loss because one's mind is acquainted, tuned to. That's all. That's why Vedanta was not taught to everybody. Vedanta was not open to everybody. If a person is sleeping, closing the eyes, and you say, look, meditation is good, fellow will be very happy to do meditation. Do you know what the meditation? Only sound will not come. And there are people also practice sleeping without making, sound or shaking the head. I'll tell you with this, I'll stop it. I had seen one childhood, one boy. Amazing. He had a habit of sleeping. So all the time he would sleep. So his parents, they thought this fellow is not going to do anything. So they appointed a personal tuition teacher. And before he goes to school, because complaint came, he doesn't bother, he sleeps. So morning, one tuition teacher will come, make him to sit till he goes to take bath. See, we'll go to the taking bath those days, open well, open pond. That fellow will go and sit there and sleep. And after coming back also. And the the tuition master, when he was teaching, and will give something, okay, read. He cannot do. And this fellow was so well trained practice. So he will slip like this, closing, and his lines will move, hand will move, okay, line by line, hand will move. So anybody can understand that he is reading. He never misses the line, you understand? Perfectly. He tuned himself in such a way, line by line, he goes down. Now tell me, with this sort of people, what can you do? So that's why from Sattva guna, from Tamo guna, one cannot jump to Sattva guna. That's why all the cultural practices that we have to make sure that one should travel from Tamoguna to Rajoguna, keeping the Sattva-guna in mind. With this, we'll stop. We'll see more of it, how to look at in details these three gunas. Om, Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, all of you.